Lastly, Councillor O'Brien submitted some interrogatories during our August 4th meeting concerning the Charter Revision Committee. I just want to make sure that he's received thorough answers to his questions regarding formation of the Charter Commission. I'm sorry our audience left. As well as to correct a very deliberate disinformation campaign on social media and right here tonight during Audience of Citizens. It's unfortunate, but I'll take some time now to provide a response to each question. And while the impression is there's this push to create an impression that this commission has been created in some secret dark alley somewhere, it is far from the truth. This is something that is long overdue, as was mentioned by some of the speakers during Audience of Citizens, and has the support of our constituents. So Councillor O'Brien asked, why are we rushing to form this committee with no prior planning or discussion by the Town Council? No one is rushing to form this Charter Revision Commission. The need to update the Charter has arisen several times during the past decade. The last time a Charter Revision Commission was created was in 1999, and its recommendations were not even adopted. There are now provisions that conflict with current town government and potentially with state law. The Council's Standing Rules of Procedure, Section 9.01, explicitly empower the Steering and Liaison Committee to, quote, initiate and develop proposals for consideration by the Council. That covers putting charter revision on steering's agenda and forwarding a recommended resolution to the Council. Throughout the fiscal year 25-26 budget discussions, members of the community asked about charter requirements and suggested it be reviewed. Some even took time to do their own research about charter revisions and the wording of other towns' charters. Every year, we are challenged by our charter mandated timeline for the budget and the fact that it starts too early for having firm data on which to base our budgeting. During our budget deliberations, I shared several times with the Town Council that state statute would allow us on an annual basis to adjust our budget timelines without opening the charter. And each time I raised this, I noted that what we really need to do is make the change to the charter so that we aren't changing dates every year, because that's bad public policy. As Council Chairwoman, I did due diligence prior to suggesting to the Steering Committee Chairperson that this go on the steering agenda. I spoke with our partners at the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities and their attorneys, reviewed the charter toolkit that CCM provided me, and met with our town attorneys to discuss process, statutory requirements, and costs. The resolution for establishing the Charter Revision Commission was drafted by our town attorneys, who have guided many towns and cities through this process. The resolution, as well as the CCM toolkit, key pages from the toolkit, and a copy of the current charter were all on the July 28, 2025 steering agenda that was published the week before the meeting. Nothing secret. Additionally, the town manager provided a summary sheet for the August 4, 2025 agenda, and all of the documents were emailed directly to town councilors. Executive Assistant Laura Stone has also created a specific page on the town website where all the documents that have been discussed thus far can be found. So you're all welcome to go take a look at them and read them and understand them. Question 2 from Councillor O'Brien. Are you planning any public hearings to discuss revisions to the town charter? Shouldn't we have done that before forming this committee? As is outlined in, this is the response, as is outlined in the CCM toolkit and as was explained by me at the August 4 meeting, this process has specific statutory requirements. Those include holding a public forum prior to the commission starting any substantive work, and later on to present the commission's proposed changes. The commission can choose to hold additional meetings as well as to ask members of the community or town staff to provide input relevant to the work they do. Councillor O'Brien's third question. I went back to look at several town council meeting agendas and I could not find any mention of a possibility of forming a charter revision committee. When was this discussed by the town council prior to today's meeting? See my response to question 1. Question 4. When was this issue referred to the steering committee by the town council for consideration? See my response to question 1. And additionally, I will add that it is the town council chair and the steering chair's authority and responsibility to draft agendas and bring issues forward using the process that makes the most sense. Question 5. Was Monday, July 28th, the first and only time the steering committee discussed the possibility of forming a charter revision committee? At the July 28th steering meeting, the town council members on steering spent time discussing the statutory process, statutory requirements, and the draft resolution. The steering committee voted unanimously to move the proposal forward to the town council. No steering committee members requested any revision to the draft resolution. This means, and I'm speaking to Councilor O'Brien, this means your caucus member Julie Blanchard voted to move the resolution forward as written. Question 6. When has this town council ever discussed considering suggesting changes to the town charter? Please identify any town council meeting at which it was discussed and determined that charter requirements for budget dates and dollar amounts are outdated and should be revised. Again, please see the response to question 1. Question 7. Was the formation of this committee discussed with the other Democrat members of the town council outside of our meetings? Response. The steering committee chair and I discussed this proposal while deciding whether to put it on the steering agenda and what the process entails. This is what the council chair and steering chair have the responsibility to do. Question 8. If you move forward, how will you guarantee the nonpartisan makeup of the committee? As is outlined in the CCM toolkit and was explained by me at the August 4th meeting, this process has specific statutory requirements, including that no more than a bare majority of members belong to the same political party. Thus, in our case, only 4 of the 7 members can belong to the same political party. Question 9. Are there any political affiliation requirements being placed on the members of the committee, or is it completely up to the discretion of the majority of the town council? This majority council thing, shoving things down people's throat, is getting tiring. This has been the most transparent town council I've ever served on since I've sat at this table in 2007. Everything is provided to every single council member. Correspondence goes on the agendas. This is statutorily driven. There is no issue to make here. There is no discretion. As with all of our boards and commissions, all appointees must be, quote, resident electors, close quote, of the town of Coventry. Their party affiliation or unaffiliated status doesn't matter other than for purposes of the bare majority rule in the statute. The only resident electors not allowed to serve on the commission are town council members per our town charter, section 3-1, as interpreted by our town attorneys. Question 10, the last question. When the committee makes its final report to the town council, can the town council choose or vote to choose only some of the recommendations to bring forward, or does the committee's report have to be voted on at a town-wide ballot in its entirety? The short answer is both. The council will vote to either accept or reject each of the commission's proposals. If they are accepted, the revisions must go to referendum for a vote by resident electors. If the town council rejects any revisions, the commission can choose to rework their draft. There are several paths that might be taken, and I encourage you to read all of the information in the CCM toolkit, as well as the pages I specifically separated out from it that outline the entire process and the if-thens of the process. I appreciate people who spoke this evening. I don't appreciate the attempt to politicize this process. It will be up to the Charter Commission to decide what it wants to bring forward to the community, if anything. In the resolution, there are some boilerplate suggestions for the Charter Revision Commission to look at, which includes the budget timeline, dollar amount ceilings that were relevant in 1991, but might not be relevant in 2025. But again, I will repeat, the council does not drive the Charter Commission's work. The Charter Commission will listen to the community. It will meet with whomever they need to meet with to get expert input, and they will do their work. Their timeline is also statutorily driven. So once the resolution was passed to form this commission, we have 30 days to fill it. That is not ramrodding, that is following the law. And once this commission is charged, they must have their work done within 16 months. And the goal would be, if something is going forward to be voted on, for it to be on the November 2026 ballot. If the charter revision changes are not on a November ballot, Then at any other time, it goes to referendum, including as a standalone or as part of a May referendum. If 15% of the electorate do not turn out to vote, even if the majority of voters vote for the recommendations, the charter does not pass. So again, I encourage you to read the information that is available, that has been available, despite what you might be hearing people saying in the community. Thank you for your time. Do any